Welcome back again. Patty Ann here. Listen, I want to be really honest with you guys today. I have been embroidering for years and years. Usually I just have bought the embroidery files that you just pop into your machine and stitch. I also had Floriani software that I was attempting to use and trying to learn how to digitize with that. I did change my mind though, and I went with Embrilliance instead. And so I've been learning that. And I have a dear friend who sent me some happy mail the other day. And what she sent was this beautiful card. And by the way, she's one of the Digi Chicks. The Digi Chicks are on my channel here on Sundays. I think it's the second and the fourth Sunday of every month, teaching you how to make cards. So if you like to make cards, you really need to join them. This is the card that Linda made for me, and she's one of the chicks. And it's just got a really sweet note in it. But in addition to sending me this beautiful card, and even look, she's even decorated the envelope. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. She also sent me something else that I absolutely love. She went ahead and downloaded and printed and bound for me the whole Embrilliance manual. I'm so excited. So this has been fun for me. I'm learning, and I'm teaching you on YouTube what I'm learning. Hey, there might be other ways to do things, but this is what I'm learning so far. So if you want to join me in my learnings, I'd really love it. You know, hit the bell, subscribe, do all that jazz. All right, today's design. Oh, before I go any further, like I said, I've been having fun. You know I sublimate, right? So I sublimated on this t-shirt, and I also added some embroidered butterflies on it. Okay, if this was a sample, I think if I were to do it again, I would make the butterflies a lighter, more delicate, because right now they seem a little heavy for the shirt. But I'd make them a little bit different. But still, look at that. Sublimation and embroidery together. Doesn't get better, right? Oh, and right here, started to learn how to make earrings as well with, what's it called? Freestanding lace. I had a black pair that I really liked, but I didn't have the backing on them or squish them together, and I lost one of them. Let me tell you sometime about that story with my mom when I had only one earring that I really liked when I was in high school. Oh my gosh. Anyway, as some people say, I digress. So let's get started. As you can see behind me, this is what I'm going to be working on today. It's a really, really cute file. It makes a little pocket, and it's perfect if you have a child getting ready or almost ready to lose a tooth. I happen to have two grandkids. They're twins. They're going to be 5 pretty soon. So I guess in the next couple of years, they'll be losing their teeth. And so this is a really sweet little thing to make for them. It's really cool because it's a pin with a pocket. So it's nice because, as it says here in the file, or on this page, you can pin this thing to their little pillow when they go to sleep at night with their tooth in it, so the tooth doesn't get lost and the fairy has an easy time to find it, and the fairy can easily slip the money that she spends for that beautiful tooth back into the pocket. And then in addition to that, since it's a pin, your child can proudly wear it because they had a tooth fairy visit. So anyway, let's get started with this file. I think you're going to love it. Okay, as you can see right over here, I just ordered this file today, October 9th, 2021, and I'm going to go ahead and download it. Notice it was $6, and I will have a link to this shop for you so that you can grab it as well if you want to work along with me. I think it's really cute. You're going to love it. So I'm going to download the files right here. And there are 5 files to download. So I'm going to just go ahead and download each one of these. And if you'll notice, they're coming right down here. I do have a Windows machine, so they come right down here. And I'm going to do, I've already actually opened up this one because this is what I've printed out that gives me the instructions on how to do it. So I printed it. Let's see, let's start at the front here. We're going to open this one first. Now, what I like to do is I don't need all of these files, so I just highlight everything, hold down my control key, and then click on the one I want to keep, which is the PES file, because I use Brother machines. So I'll click on that, which makes it unselected. And then I'm going to delete everything that I have selected by hitting delete on my keyboard. And yes, I want to delete all those. So I'm just left with the one file that I need. And I'll say extract and extract. So that one's done. Now let's see. I'm going to go to the second one, which is this one right here, obviously. Double click on that. Same thing. Grab everything, highlight everything. Now there's more stuff in here that I want to keep. Hold down my control key, click on the color chart because I want that. Click on this file, it's a picture file, BMP. Click on the setup information, maybe I need that. I don't really think I do, but I'll click on it. And the PES file, those are the only ones that I need. The other files I don't need, so I'm going to delete them. Delete and yes. And then I'm going to extract all and say extract. Okay, and now we'll go to the third thing, this one right here. Again, same thing, highlight everything, find only the one I want to keep, hold down my control key on my Windows machine so that deselects the PES file because I want to keep it. Hit delete on my keyboard, delete these 6 items, yes. And now extract all. I can get rid of that now. And that was, I think, the third one, so now we're on the fourth. Once again, do this. There's only one thing I want to keep. Control, select, delete the rest, yes. And extract all, extract. And there we go. All right, so how many things did we have? Let's get rid of this because I've already printed these instructions, which you'll want to do also. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that I needed to download. Okay, as you can see over here in the top line, I have the zipped files that I've already unzipped, and I have the other ones as well. Let's delete this so it doesn't confuse me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I've already plugged in my thumb drive, okay, into my computer, and that's what I take to my machine in order to stitch things out. So you can see it's a USB drive right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these in order. This is the chart. And is there a PES file here? Yes, there is. And what I can do, since I have Embrilliance and I have the thumbnailer, I can view these as large icons so I can see exactly what I'm dragging over. So this is the first one I'm going to drag over. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this over here. Right after I get to my USB drive, see how it's highlighted? I'm going to drop it. So that's been put in that drive. The second one, let's go and see what's in here. And again, I can view extra large icons. Okay, this is the part of the pocket. So I'm going to drag that and also put it in my drive. Go up. The third one, I can right click and say view large if I want to. Okay, that's the total back. So I'll bring that and put it into my thumb drive. And this, right click, say view extra large icons. That's the final stitching that makes it really nicely finished, and I'll put that in there as well. Okay, this picture shows you pretty much what you do in the very beginning. You hoop a piece of cutaway stabilizer, then you run a placement stitch on the stabilizer only, and hopefully you can see that underneath this fabric. Then you lay your fabric or your material over your placement stitches and then run your tack down stitch. Okay, after you have done that, you've run your placement and your tack down stitch, you're going to trim carefully around your stitches and avoid cutting into the stitches. Then you're going to run your finishing satin stitches and set the pocket aside. And here you can see where I've done the satin stitch at the very top of the pocket. Then I'm going to take this out of the hoop and just set it aside. Okay, next we're at the Tooth Fairy Pin Pocket back. You're going to hoop 2 layers of water-soluble stabilizer in your 4x4 hoop, and you're going to run the placement stitch. Okay, the placement stitch that you just ran is telling you where you need to put your fabric. So you'll place your fabric and make sure it's covering all of the placement stitches. Okay, the directions say that after you've run the placement line and the tack down line and the eyelets, trim around the fabric and stuff. Don't trim the stitches, of course. And with this still in the hoop, it says to fit the pocket section, the other piece that you had done previously, to the outline, the piece that you set aside earlier. And you're going to secure it using a spritz of spray adhesive, or you can tape it down. I did something a little bit different on mine. I decided to go back using my adjust stitches on my machine to the first placement stitch and run that again so both pieces are stitched and held perfectly together. And I'll show you that now. Okay, this is what I'm talking about here. I've done the third step, which is the eyelets, and now I'm going to go back to the very first step to do another placement stitch so I can join those 2 parts together. These 2 parts together, this pocket we made originally and this piece, without having to use an adhesive, because I know I'm a little klutzy and I'd probably bum them apart. I am right here at the adjust button. I'm going to click adjust, and it's asking basically, what do I want to adjust? I want to adjust the plus minus of the needle. So I'm going to click on that. And then what do I want to do? I want to go back some steps. So I check the spools. So if I want to go back, of course, that's a minus. So I'm going to go back 1. Is that where I want to be? Well, maybe. But I think I'll just go back to the very first step, and I can tell that I'm here because it's step number 1 out of 3. And so I would just go ahead and stitch that step again. And here you can see where I have gone ahead and stitched that placement stitch again, and that connected those 2 pieces of the back together. And I can now take all of this out of the hoop and trim right up near that stitching line, which will go through all of the layers. Okay, now we're going to begin the Tooth Fairy Pin Pocket front. Gonna hoop 2 pieces of water-soluble stabilizer and run the placement stitch so you know where to put your fabric. After you put your fabric down, you're going to once again run a tack down stitch. And you may need to go back you will need to go back 1 step to get another tack down stitch. Okay, after you've tacked it down, you'll take it out of your machine and just cut along the edge of that tack down without obviously cutting into the stitches. Next up, you're going to go to the Tooth Fairy Badge Color Chart PDF so that you know what stitches out when. And mine obviously started with that sort of grayish silver color, which I absolutely loved, and then it will continue through the various stitches. Okay, step number 3 is light blue according to the chart. It's for the angel wings, and I've decided to make mine pink since this one is for my granddaughter. The next start to stitch is the tooth, which is white, and then after that will come the kind of a warm gray color to accent the outline of the tooth. And now a decision, which color to use for the little cheeks. Okay, at this point now I take my hoop out of the machine and flip it over very carefully. Don't take anything out of the hoop. And then I'm going to position the back of the pocket right side up. Before I do though, I'm going to spray it with some tacky repositionable adhesive, and I'm going to really make sure I line it up perfectly, and then carefully flip it back over and put it into my machine to begin the last 2 steps. Okay, as you can see, I've finished it and I've taken it out of the hoop and I've trimmed up against the stitching, but obviously not cutting the stitching. I have plain water and a Q-tip, and I'm just going to go around there to get rid of the water-soluble stabilizer. Look how super cute this is. Here's the front. Here's the back. All you need is a safety pin to pin it on the pillow of the child. They can put their tooth in here at night and then the next morning find their money from the tooth fairy. And they could wear this as a little pin if they wanted to once they lost a tooth. Oh my gosh, you guys, look how super cute this stitched out. It's adorable. I went ahead and gave this one little pink wings for Layla, my granddaughter, and I'm going to make one for my grandson as well, Levi. They're going to be 5 years old pretty soon, so I'm imagining before too long they'll be losing some teeth. But you know, it's really cool. Turn it over on the other side, and it's a pocket. They can put their tooth in here and pin it with just a regular safety pin somewhere, maybe to their pillow at night or wherever they'd like. When they're asleep, the tooth fairy can come and take their little gem of a tooth and pay them for it. Also, in the morning, maybe they'd like to wear this as a badge showing that they lost a tooth and the tooth fairy came. So thanks so much for visiting with me, you guys. I hope you are going to join me in my endeavor, I don't know what to call it, my foray into learning Embrilliance. I'm a newbie, but I'm learning quickly, and I'm sharing with you things that I'm learning along the way. So if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and check out my links down below. I sure appreciate it when you use them because it allows me to buy things like this, not only for my family, but sometimes I just buy things to show you how to do it. So again, thanks a lot. Bye. Okay, here we are in the Tooth Fairy Pin Pocket back. And remember, we've done all of this and just use adhesive to stick the other little pocket part we made to it. Remember, let's see if I can show it to you really quick. So we were going to go ahead and just stick this on here with some adhesive, which I said I'm kind of klutzy and I'm afraid I would, bump that off or mess it up somehow. So I decided to add another tack down stitch to tack it down after I've placed it on the back with the adhesive. So to do that, let's look up here at the screen. All you have to do is open this up over here, and you just have to have, I'm using Essentials, Embrilliance Essentials. Okay, so I first have the applique position stitch, then the material stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the applique position stitch. And to duplicate it, I just come up here to copy, and then I go to paste, and I put it right down here. So that's really pretty perfect, because what's going to happen now is this. It's going to do the placement stitch. I'm going to put my fabric on there. It's going to do the tack down stitch. It's going to do the eyelets. After the eyelets are done, it's going to give me time to take my hoop out, apply that one backing part face up onto the back. Let me show you again. So apply this piece face up onto this piece with the eyelets. And then after I put it on here with some adhesive, then I'm going to put it back in my machine and run the final stitch, which is this tack down stitch. and then I can cut around it and I'm not afraid it's gonna bump apart or anything like that. So that's one place where I changed it. And by the way, Wendy may be changing this on her in her file if it truly did need another stitch out area, another step. But if not, you'll know how to fix it just by going through these steps.